In what ways does free will come into play, and in what ways does fate, destiny, or, like a charted course work? If you can only support creators who provide value and make you think, please consider contributing to my Patreon page the next time you watch one of my videos. Hello everybody and welcome. Today I kind of wanted to talk about a concept that continuously comes up within my own head, which is how much control do I have over my own life? And in essence, it comes down to the two philosophies about how life works, which is A, there are no rules, we're free to choose whatever we want or don't want, and everything happens due to our choice. And the second one, which is, everything happens because it's predestined, we have no choice, doesn't matter what we do, everything will always turn out the way that it's supposed to, and we might as well not even try. And I mean, not everybody's going to look at these topics in the same way that I do, but that is kind of how I look at them. So in essence, it's a question of fate versus free will, or destiny versus free will. I've been thinking about this particular topic a lot recently. I'm not really sure why, but it keeps coming up in my head, so I opted to think about it a little bit more. And I've been reading a book called Sophie's World. Thank you, Derek, for that. And he discusses how compromise, or that there are certain levels of understanding, and usually you start off with kind of a dichotomous view, and then as you grow you come to a middle ground, and then that middle ground becomes the new thesis that is dichotomous and so on. But I had to reach a point of compromise where it's not fully free will and it's not fully destiny, and I've known that for pretty much ever, but I'd never really considered to what degree each of those is true. I just knew that the answer was somewhere in the middle. But I started thinking about how that might look. In what ways does free will come into play, and in what ways does fate, destiny, or like a charted course work? And what I determined is that if you use the analogy of choosing a path through the forest, it's going to kind of explain to you how these two concepts work together. So free will suggests that you could walk down any path, pick the trees, pick the animals you see, pick what time of day it is, all these other things. So you have complete control over your path. The issue with free will, this is actually something that Sam Harris discusses, is that if somebody asks you a question that can have multiple answers, your brain only gives you so many choices, despite the fact that there could be hundreds of answers that you already know. So it can't fully be free will, because you didn't even choose which names came up when you thought about the answer to that question. He uses the suggestion of, think of a celebrity. Most of us are going to come up with a list in our head, and we're going to pick our favorite from that list. But if the person starts to prompt you and says, well, what about this one? What about this one? What about that one? You're like, well, yeah, I didn't think of them, but sure, I could have picked that one, I could have picked that one, or, whatever. It's not really a decision that matters in any particular way, particularly in that instance, because it doesn't lead to anything. But the point is, you have no control over the list that's generated in your head. Somehow that list comes all on its own. So we don't have ultimate free will. We can't pick and choose from everything, primarily because we don't think of everything. If you wanted to insert a particular celebrity into that slot that somebody else suggested, then you start to think about that celebrity more, and then they're far more likely to come up in your list of celebrities the next time somebody asks. But, once again, what would be the point of that? I do think this is why so many teachers tell you, though, that you need to repeat information in order for it to stick. And if you want to manifest something in your life, you need to have a clear image and think about it regularly. Otherwise, you're going to lose momentum and it's not really going to come into existence because the energy behind it doesn't really exist anymore. But, you know, that is a challenging concept in and of itself. That's kind of the law of attraction thing. And I've done a video on law of attraction for skeptics, so feel free to watch that. I know that my views on law of attraction might differ from a lot of people's. So, if it's not free will, then let's look at destiny. Destiny is the concept that no matter what you do, everything is going to turn out the way it's supposed to. You have no control, so you might as well just enjoy the ride or hate the ride, you know, whatever the case may be. But that suggests that some people are destined to be wealthy beyond imagining, and some people are destined to live in a sewer all of their life, and that they have absolutely no control in changing that life situation. I can't guarantee that destiny doesn't rule the world, but the question becomes, well, how much of what I accomplish is on me and how much is destined? And since I've changed course so many times and drastically changed my life due to my thoughts and experiments and where I put my energy, I kind of doubt that destiny or fate is all there is to it. I mean, there's the concept that it was my destiny or fate to change courses that many times, but I kind of doubt it. It seems unlikely that my life would be so chaotic and disordered and changeable and shifting if it was all fate and destiny. So that suggests that it's not entirely destiny either, but I cannot disprove this one. I mean, ultimately, I can't disprove the free will concept either, but it does seem like that one has a little bit more reasoning behind why it can't be 100% accurate than the destiny one does. And perhaps that's because of the nature of free will versus destiny. But when you come into the center, now you have the question of, well, how much free will and how much destiny play a part? And back to that path analogy, essentially what I've determined is that you choose the path, but you can't pick the trees. So you can choose a path with certain trees supposedly on it, but once you're on the path, the trees you see are the trees you see. You're not going to be able to, like, shift them and be like, you should be a birch instead, or you should be a willow, whatever the case may be. So you can change path if you want to and go to a path with different trees, but the paths or the trees on that path will be the same. So you can change paths, but you can't change the trees. Essentially, you can change the direction you're going, but you can't change the objects you find along the way. So if there's a really big rock blocking the road or a downed tree barring your passage forward, you can't change that. Well, you could with a lot of effort, but you can't change that instantaneously. It's not like you can just be like, oh, there's no tree there. I'll just keep going. Instead, that tree is there. It's a problem you would have to deal with because you're on that particular path. You can choose a path which supposedly has less barriers, but that's assuming you know what the future is going to be, and that's pretty much impossible. So you can pick your path, but you can't pick the trees, you can't pick the objects you see along the way. That has kind of been where my particular study of this concept has led me to. I'm sure that there are other people who have more complete, comprehensive versions of what exactly this looks like. But I kind of like the way that this one feels right now, and it's fun to play with. So I hope you enjoy it as well. You know, get to throw it around in your head a little bit and think about it. But that is pretty much everything I have to say to you today. So I hope I got you thinking. I hope that you learned something. I hope you found some value in this video. And if you enjoyed it, definitely click the like button. subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and if you have any questions or comments or ideas about videos you want me to create, then definitely leave them in the comments and I will see them there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you again soon. Bye.